Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And we've just had a crucial day for seeding for Major 2, but Los Angeles Thieves still making it too easy to roast them, going 0-5 this stage. Loads of storylines to discuss across all the teams today. Very much enjoying your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's just crack right on. 4 games to dive into. Firstly, it's Seattle Surge versus LA Thieves. We said earlier today might be the battle of the two teams that might want to blow it up. In fairness, I was kind of optimistic that Surge could do something of a bounce back. This team's still very up and down. Thieves, honestly, they did win the game one in fairness, but after that it just collapsed. It's honestly tragic watching this team. I can't imagine what Nate was thinking if he actually tuned into this, especially the Search and Destroy, given that Nate back in the day was considered to be a bit of a Search and Destroy wizard. Him on Ghost was actually one of the best Search and Destroy players in the entire game. He has some great moments. Maybe he needs to summon for this team in Search and Destroy. I don't know what they need to do, but yeah, okay, they win the game one, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe they'll win this series, right? And despite the fact that Thieves, they're down there in a lower bracket, maybe they can get some momentum going into the major. Maybe that's possible. Doesn't happen though. Game 2 was honestly just embarrassing. Look, accuracy in a 1 versus 3. He gets the first kill. I guess we'll share the first kill right here. 1v3 situation. 1-1 at this point. The bomb's down. 39 seconds on it. Okay, Drazah gets picked out the corner. Not sure really what he's doing playing there, but it is what it is. You've got the information now. Accuracy bait's going up top. Octane and Envoy both over towards his left-hand side. This is where accuracy in a clutch situation is just, he's obviously a great player in the clutch. We know this. He's called the Iceman for a reason. I feel like a lot of players here would think, okay, I've got to go for a kill. I've got to try and do something. Accuracy is always the guy that, despite the play he makes right here and just straight up getting on the bomb, it doesn't seem like maybe the greatest play on paper. It actually is probably the one that gives him the highest percentage chance. If he tries to get a kill, he's unlikely to win it given the power positions they have. And what are Thieves doing, man? They don't check the thing. Even when he got the defuse, they still probably needed, 2 more seconds to check it? I have no idea. Honestly, I saw someone say they turn into NPCs when they have a life advantage. I don't understand what the hell was happening there, to be honest. No one was checking the bomb. No one was on that side of the map. They both just sat around there doing nothing. Kenny was looking at this after the fact thinking, lads, what were you playing out there? So I don't know how accuracy wins this one. And this isn't even as bad as it gets. This is a ridiculous clutch, first of all. I have no idea how they let accuracy get away with this again. He always manages to make it happen. But then the very next rounds, Simp finds himself in a 1 versus 3. And again, they're just throwing away life advantages for fun. Here you can see it's 2-1. Simp 1 versus 3. Seems like he's dead to rights here, right? Someone's coming up behind him. Gets the first kill here onto Kenny, comes out. Not really Kenny's fault, of course, in this position. But, gets the Kenny kill. Lad flies out behind him. Gets double punched. Drazah goes down. And, 1 versus 1. He gets the kill as well on that one. Wins the rounds. Back-to-back 1v3s. This is just vintage Los Angeles Thieves stuff. I've no idea how they managed to throw all these rounds away. And even as Egg says, please just blow it up already, right? At this point, it wasn't looking good at all. And the morale from that point just completely crumbled, right? Those 2 rounds back-to-back, as soon as they happened, you knew they were getting 3-1 in this series, to be honest. If the vibes weren't bad enough already before the series began, they certainly were after those couple of rounds. And even then, right, 1v3 Ninja, 1v3, couple of 2v3s as well thrown in there for good measure. 6-2 in favor of Seattle Surge. And look at this, going into Tuscan control, not the prettiest sight if you're a Thieves fan. Record 1-5, 11th and last across pretty much all the metrics in Tuscan control. They lose this one as well. Kenny drops 7 kills. Kenny and Octane, the duo, I'm pretty sure they combined for 19 in 43 this game. Kenny went 7 in 22. Formal with the 7 from back in the day. Certainly viable right here. And then they go into the final game. They lose that one as well. At this point, they were just so checked out. You could hear the listening. They were just not having a good time. They were in the absolute blender, getting frustrated, complaining about things. No, understandably why. But just from where this team was and where they were expected to be, certainly nowhere near. And even this, right, haunting photo taken seconds before disaster, when of course Octane got saved from the Surge. But it hasn't really worked out that his new team is better than the Seattle Surge's new roster at all. Kenny says, joke, GG Seattle, lost 1-3. And as Crone says, right, he was trying to dig in because I'm pretty sure Octane was noticed. Pretty sure this is when they had a game, right at the end of the day. He was watching some other Twitch streams. And, yes, maybe, kind of Crone implied that's what he's doing here over at the left-hand side. Not paying all that much attention. These then the post-series stats. Not a pretty sign again. Octane with a 0.8, probably his best series in quite some time. Kenny with a 0.65. That's obviously not going to cut it. And Envoy here again. Most kills in the lobby, most damage in the lobby. Pretty sure most damage, just about takes out Sib. 1.14. This guy's doing it all. Engagements, damage, kills. But still, no one there to help him this time around. Kenny has an uncharacteristically poor series. Drazah and Octane have honestly been like this for quite some time. So something has to give. The question is something going to give before the major? Because, technically they could make a change in the coming days. Unlikely though it is, it's not out of the realms of possibility they make some sort of move. Not even sure what they would do if Pentagram comes in, but if the vibes are completely chalked, which they might well be, something might have to change. Even then, though, after the major, they have like a good few weeks to figure it out in the kind of mid-season break. So, like, look, we've talked about this for a few days. I'm sure we'll talk about it in the coming days. Rumors will start to arise as to what they might potentially do. But, yeah, I doubt this team is going to be the same after Major 2. They might even blow it up in the coming days, to be honest, because I think we saw Thieves do that last year, actually going into a major, changing up their team. But maybe they don't have the options on the bench they did this time last year. The second series of the day, then, Boston Breach up against the Florida Mutineers. This is a very impressive series from Boston. I thought they would win this, but I did not think it would be this comfortable. Florida are a weird team, though, where sometimes they do just get 3-0'd like this. It does happen to them. But Boston's series here was very impressive to me, just because at one point, this game on Gavutu hardpoint was, I believe it was like 100 to 100. And then, like, you fast forward a couple of hardpoints, it's 251-24. They just blew them out the park on the second set of rotations. That tends to be what all the best teams do. Just wanted to give credit, not just to the players, but also to Zed and Denz and what they've brought to this squad, because I think it's very difficult to integrate rookies like this, especially when you've picked up a team that was basically the leftovers, right? Players that there wasn't all that much faith in from the other rosters, and they've brought these guys together in such a cohesive unit that they're getting on improving every day. And also, you've certainly got to shout out Zin, right? Since he's, you know, the girlfriend buff comes through in spades, it seems, because he's been out of control the last few days. Like, this series, again, that's like a 1.7. A couple of days ago, he hit a 1.9. This guy's out of control. If he's playing like this, they're going to be a very difficult team to stop indeed, because not many yards are putting up stats like this right now. Even Dashy in their series against LAG couldn't quite bring these numbers to the party. Game 2, they win it in round 11. The Desert Siege is pretty fun to watch, to be honest, especially a game like this. Super back and forth. Boston shows some clutch factor as well, and they go into the control and get the job done there. 3-2 on Gavutu. Very rare that Boston actually win this map, but still, they got a victory on Gavutu control, right? So you've got to be happy with that if you're a Boston fan. But a 3-0 victory over the Florida Mutineers, incredibly impressive. They now move to 4-0 in the stage. They finish off against London, so a decent chance to go 5-0 here. And of course, well, OpTic could also go 5-0 in theory, and they currently have the same map count. I'm pretty sure Boston and OpTic still do, because they had the same map count before. They both 3-0 today. I guess they still have the same map count. So potentially very exciting prospects in the tiebreakers, but of course, tomorrow could change everything. Vivid with a poor series here with a 0.6, but Method 64 in 37, 1.73 KD. This guy simply cannot be stopped right now. Zinicat, way too overpowered it seems. Now let's go into the Los Angeles Guerrillas versus OpTic series. Unfortunately, they had to play with a sub today. Gunless is under the weather. I guess he tested positive or just happens to feel bad. Spart will be subbing in for their match against OpTic Sectors. So this, of course, Spart was on their roster right at the start of Modern Warfare. Like, maybe not at the start, but he definitely got a chance in Modern Warfare. Didn't have the greatest year. Like, he went back to Challengers and had to, well, try really hard to actually get back into the pro level. Of course, he's their sub. Wasn't expecting to have to come into this roster, but there was discussions whether you actually bring him in as a possibility if they want to make a change at some point or another. Kind of what Paul X did to London. He stepped in for the London guys, looked very good, then got the chance on New York as a kind of result of that. Didn't happen today for Spart. In fairness, if there is one team you probably don't want to throw your substitute player into the blender against, it's probably the OpTic guys. Like, I mean, yeah, game 1, 250, 201, or 210 or whatever. Like, I'm back and forth, to be honest. OpTic generally felt like they were in control. Scump, again, with the auto on this map is so strong, right? Like, he's so good with it on this one. Like, he's using the MP40 at times, so a lot of the time he has the auto out on certain hardpoints. Really seems to help them a lot. So, I mean, yeah, this setup just seems to be working so well for OpTic. Not their best map at all. No Tuscans in this series they had to win, which was pretty impressive. Of course, look, they were expected to win the series at this 3-0, 3-1, playing a team with a sub, but still the fashion in which they did it was pretty impressive. The Search and Destroy as well, right, going on to the Desert Siege, just because that was the map where they struggled right recently. They got 6-0'd by Thieves not that long ago. This is a map, obviously, they want to work on. No Berlin hardpoint in this series, but Desert Siege Search and Destroy gets in there. Definitely a map they want to kind of round out their map pool on to help them if they get to another best of 9 in the grand finals. And I mean, there were some crazy moments that went down here, actually. A 2 versus 4 in, like, Shotzi was just going rogue this entire series. He was a monster this one. Like, Dashy didn't do that much. Scump, honestly, was a monster game 1, but it was Shotzi the rest of the series that just took over. This 3-piece of clutch of the 2 versus 4, no problem at all. And then the final round goes their favour as well. 6-2 in the end. The defuse comes through. Slasher did his best on a nice little late flank, but yeah, it wasn't enough. 6-2 in the Search and Destroy, and then the control goes their way as well. I mean, look at this as well, right? The map records, 36 in 15. I'm pretty sure their last few series, like their record in the last few series in terms of map counts is like, I don't know, 35 in 9 or something just outrageous. So they were looking very good. Number 1 KD in the game. Hardpoint win rate is 3rd. S&D round win percentage 1st. Control round win percentage 1st as well. And well, they win the control again. Back and forth game. No one won an offense in this one, actually. There were a couple of chances that maybe OpTic had to win one, but they got more ticks on the whole than Los Angeles Guerrillas. Generally, LAG not particularly good right at getting offensive wins on this map. They close it out in the end. They continue their route. I'm pretty sure their control win streak is now getting up to 10 or 11, or it's something pretty good. I think that it might have tied the record, actually, for control win streak. Match win streak record they haven't quite got to yet. They're now on 11 series wins in a row. The record is 13 right here from FaZe between stage 3 and 5 last year. So, well, in order to beat this, they'll have to beat FaZe tomorrow and then kind of go into the major and have a couple of victories there. They could potentially get to 14, but it's going to be far from easy. The FaZe series is very exciting. As Slasher says, GG's OpTic, unfortunate circumstances with BP. Hopefully he's feeling better. Appreciate Spart for filling in. But yeah, these are the overall series stats, right? Dashy nearly didn't have to do all that much. Dashy with one of his weakest series in a while. Doesn't matter though when shots he's dropping a 1.46 and Scump's got a 1.25. Have to mention that Spart especially got absolutely bullied on that final control. Finishes with a 0.55 KD, but sometimes that just happens when you get thrown in last minute against a team like OpTic Texas, the number 1 in the game. 11 win streak right now. Very much looking forward to that FaZe series tomorrow. And it's typical Minnesota Rokkr making the last series longer than maybe it could have been. But New York versus Minnesota. Earlier today we talked about how important this series was for seeding in terms of Minnesota winning a lot of maps and ideally of course winning this series to get the winners bracket spot. Their map count now is not looking pretty at all. The New York front, this was massive for them. 1 and 2, they needed to win this one. They've still got to play Toronto tomorrow to get a great chance to get to the winners bracket. But yeah, very impressive series. Honestly, the respawn game from Subliners seems to have come on leaps and bounds. Neptune looks way more comfortable, which was something we didn't see at all when Clay was in the team. This is kind of the Neptune Hydra SMG duo that we expected to see when this team was formed, that Clay and Crim, when they were together, couldn't really get the best out of. Since Paul has come in, seems to have changed up the team dynamic a fair bit, seems to have helped them a lot, to be honest. This was an impressive victory. Game 1 was honestly one of the more ridiculous backages, that we've seen so far this year. It goes in the end, I mean, first of all, Neptune had some nice streaks early on. He started off 13, 14 and 1 on some crazy streaks. That was very impressive, but still, the game is very tight. In the end, it ends 198 to 188. It was just a ridiculous game. 1 to 99, I'm pretty sure New York got in the end, because this, I believe, may be the 4th game in COD history, 3 of which have been on backage so far this season, where it's gone to time, and it hasn't, and neither team has got 200 points. So, well, it happens again right here. New York get the job done. They get enough time over towards this hard point. They get out the hill. They play the clock down. Impressive stuff from them, but yeah, one of the more mental backages you're personally going to see. Then game 2, though, I was very impressed the fact that Minnesota let this one go. Search and destroy pretty comfortably. In the end, goes the way of New York with the new bomb site. They were very good at kind of getting plants done over towards the A site. Looked a lot more comfortable and more cohesive as a unit, but as Sasha says, let me know what Minnesota is down 2-0. They always do this and then they bring things back, and he predicts right here that, okay, I've seen this before, Minnesota in 5, and that they do win the control in the end. A very a crazy control, to be honest. All 5 defenses, it's classic Minnesota just winning a boring map like this, but I mean, still, they get the job done. They do a good job on their final offense, actually getting enough ticks over towards that B point to get over line and get defense around 5. They win that one. It was a tight fought affair. New York definitely didn't have the greatest time on their offenses, but they go into a Berlin where I'm pretty sure in their series against Paris, New York, they were kind of in a similar spot, and they went into a Berlin and won it pretty comfortably. They effectively do the same thing here. Was a back and forth game, but right towards the end when New York needed to turn up, they did exactly that. New York take the series. Crimsix is very happy about it. Fat Man, of course, didn't even have to do anything on maps 1 and 2. Love that out of the team. You can see him in the AVO right here. But yeah, he's having a good time. I'd love to see that. Really, he doesn't have to do all that much. Still wins the series. Big one against Toronto. But Minnesota have put themselves in a terrible position at their own major. They're now 2-3 with, I believe, an 8-13 map count, which on percentage terms is almost certainly not going to be good enough for them to get to winners bracket. It might happen somehow, but I kind of doubt it. More than likely, they'll be starting losers at their own major. The series stats don't paint the prettiest picture, but very much intrigued your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in the like button. Tell us, YouTube gods, this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.